What's good, y'all? We got Africans are blaming Black Americans for this. We on the road to 100K. Okay, if you want to hit that like button, subscribe button, and turn on all notifications, slap the dog shit about yourself, because that's the first thing you should have did when you clicked on this video. Shouts out to O'Shea Duke Jackson. Let's see what it's hitting for.
Do you know people who make it so difficult for foreigners when it comes to English? Black Americans.
A few days ago, a podcast with two African gentlemen, one from the Congo and another, it seems, from Nigeria, called The Real Mania Show, decided to have a few words about Black Americans.
Is that right?
It started off pretty interesting. At first, there were some shots at Black Americans directed at the treatment that they receive from them being from Africa. And their complaint was that Black Americans are not really welcoming to Africans. And the conversation got interesting.
Do you know people who make it so difficult for foreigners when it comes to English? Black Americans.
Oh my God!
I'm telling you. I feel like white people, they have that understanding.
They understand. They actually want you.
They want to.
They want to learn. Yeah,
Bro. Your language. White people, folks are open to them, but the Black, they are like they have egos.
They have egos.
They always they have this enslaving of each other mentality.
Yeah.
When I first came to America, they have even now my accent are not that good, but they can hear me, right?
Yeah.
If I'm talking to the Black, they don't really pay
attention to.
They both agree that Black Americans tend not to want to listen to them because of their broken English. Yet white people, when they encounter them, are more interested in learning about their culture or even listening to them. Now, this complaint I can see being very valid. And the reason why I see this being very valid is because I have lived overseas for the last 10 years. When I talk to many Africans in Uganda or Kenya, they typically complain about my English. Although I'm speaking standard English, it's the fact that my English is too fast. And so because my English is so perfect, according to them, they say that I need to slow down.
Stop it.
That's why they be calling. That's why they be calling niggas white boys when they go over there.
And I'm calling to get a Uber or get my food delivered, and the Ugandan answers the phone, and he hears my English and automatically does this. So I can agree to this being a problem. Black Americans probably are not interested in speaking to somebody that they have a hard time understanding.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Me personally, yeah, whenever it comes to another language, like, and you got a real thick accent, it's just like, man, it's hard to understand, man. You know, I don't think it's necessarily any like personal hate towards y'all on that note, you know, but they probably finna go deeper.
Interested in speaking to somebody that they have a hard time understanding. This is something that typically happens worldwide, but I could see their point.
You're right, yeah.
And a Black American could definitely be a little bit more rude about it. But let's continue.
If you know every individual that comes to America, maybe certain percent might have experienced it. Talk to white people Black people when you don't have accent. They don't want to listen to you at all.
Yes, they don't have the passion.
They don't want to have
the
that
patience
conversation.
to.
And another thing is we all look at each other like different, you know, so, you know.
But white people will take time.
Yes.
Pay attention. They don't care if you're taking time for them to hear what you want to say. So from there now, who is racism who?
Now, the brother, who I believe is Nigerian, also complains about, these blacks don't want to engage you while whites engage you, and they want to be your friend, and they will try to work through the accent issue. And at the same time, the Black Americans complain.
Hey, Robert Herjavec from Shark Tank. I'm a huge fan. Hey, what is your #1 tip for saving
Fake
money?
ass ads and
complain
shit.
about racism from white people, but who is actually being racist towards who? Let me talk about this. Just because a person doesn't...
I don't, yeah, that's why I was saying, bro, I don't think it's necessarily personal, bro. You know, I don't have the patience for niggas' accents. I'm not gonna lie. It's like, man, I definitely see what they say, because, like, they might try to spark conversation with a nigga, just, and it's just like a nigga might look at him. Because a nigga like me, I'm gonna be like, in real life, bro, y'all niggas already know how it is, bro. If you come across me, it's hard for me to explain. Let me see. I'm not a people person, bro. So let that be said. That'll tell you. Like the kind of face I'd give you. Like, bro, you wasting my time right now. I can't. You over here talking and then you talking and then you speaking gibberish right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying it's necessarily like racist. It's just
Actually being racist towards who? Let me talk about this. Just because a person doesn't want to engage you or speak to you, it doesn't mean that that person is racist.
Right.
There are people all the time in the Black American community that you might try to talk to and understand them perfectly, and you just don't want to deal with them. Like, just think about a woman who is getting approached by a guy or somebody trying to sell you their mixtape. So just because you don't want to deal with that person, it doesn't mean that you are racist toward them. But I can understand their frustration. This is what he's saying. Like, you guys are complaining about being racist, but you don't want to engage us.
I remember the first time I went to Atlanta, bro. It was a goddamn went to Walmart, bro. It was a dyke trying to sell me a mixtape, bro. I hope she doing good, man. I hope she's still. I mean, I could be outside Walmart trying to get my shit going. Might have, but she probably got more motion than me, goddamn. On a music video wise, but probably not this 100K I'm about to hit. It's a little bit different.
While other whites that
make it out that Walmart parking lot
come across
want
to engage us. I don't really think that that's a great point, but okay, it's not getting worse now, okay? But this one takes the cake.
Because they think they are better.
So in their mentality, it's like, okay, you are a foreigner. You came here to look for a life. That means you didn't have a life back home. I'm like, listen,
exactly.
The life that we have,
black, mentally.
Why are they saying enslaving?
Black Americans. Let's be specific. We are like to be very specific. You know what I mean? So for me, I think Black Americans
enslaving the Africans.
Mentally, they do slave us because they think they're better than us.
So he's saying that Black Americans do not realize that we had a great life in Africa before we came to America. So they discount our privilege or where we come from, thinking that we had nothing going on there. Well, the problem with that argument is, sir, if you had a lot going on there, you wouldn't be in America.
Super hot.
Now, it could be definitely wrong to assume that a person was a nobody in the country that they come from. And that is a wrong assumption. I've met plenty of people that were in America and lived someplace else, and they were extremely rich, extremely successful, but they downplayed their wealth. So yes, you can't just assume that because somebody is in America and from a nation that is third world or not as developed as America, that they don't have anything. That is actually true. But the problem is when you're a person coming from a poor country to a richer country, then it's automatic that somebody will think that you are on a lower totem pole. And typically that is the case in American society. If you're coming from Nigeria or Congo,
just depends,
or Ghana,
really.
It's easy to assume that you're coming to America.
I would say, like, if you're Asian, the Asians be having money. They be having motion, bro. The Asians, they come out here, they live in the burbs, nigga. They don't go to the hood. Them Arab niggas, the Arabic motherfuckers, they be having money, bro. I'd say it's like a black and Hispanic thing, but the Hispanics be getting bread too. I'm not gonna say they don't. They definitely be out here getting bread, for sure. You know, but
for number one, more opportunities, be it what, educational or economical. Anybody would assume that.
I would say a lot of foreigners be coming over here and having money though, because they got the money to come here. You know what I'm saying? Some of them don't though, but you know.
But then the other part that I do not like is, well, they have a problem with us and they are holding us back. They're racist towards us.
I'm not gonna lie, that nigga dressing like a straight African though. This is the type of fit that only an African nigga would wear, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Then
that's no disrespect. Fuck with the Africans, you know what I'm saying? It's just reaction, bro. You know, but that's the most African fit there is, boy. Next to the the fake Gucci fit.
The other part that I do not like is, well, they have a problem with us and they are holding us back. They are racist towards us. They are like enslaving us because they think they are better than us.
Boy, you don't sit your stupid ass down. Who the you think you is?
Some do.
This was probably the most silliest argument
I would say
because
so,
the reason why Black Americans are in America is because Africans were complicit in the slave trade.
He's right, you know.
So there is no way
Historically,
that a person who was enslaved and brought to America
what the school
could
teaches
enslave
wise.
a person that got into America based on a
Right.
green card or a work visa or anything like that.
Right.
It doesn't make any
Right.
sense. And that's an argument that the person cannot
They're
defend.
better than any foreigner because black people have entitlement when it comes to shit like that, bro. There's entitlement there that's deserved. You know what I'm saying? It just is what it is, bro. You know, it's no cocky shit. It doesn't need to be taken to the extreme. But there is some entitlement that's there. Because without the struggle, I mean, it's 2025. Of course, times are way different. But you got to think just 100 years ago, shit was fucked up. So, what am I trying to say, bro? Hold on.
Doesn't make any sense. And that's an argument that the person or anything like that. It doesn't make any sense. And that's an argument that the person cannot defend just because they have bias against Black Americans. If you're going to talk about things and talk about Black Americans, you should talk about Black Americans objectively with proof instead of talking about them subjectively with falsehoods. And there are many mistakes that we make in the Black.
Because the Black American, y'all know what I'm saying, man, paved the way, the struggle that they had to go through, bro.
About them subjectively with falsehoods. And there are many mistakes that we make in the Black American community, but enslaving somebody is just not what we do. You actually did that to us.
And I ain't lying.
Now, on the same podcast, they start talking about delineation. Now, we didn't bring it up.
They got the most
They brought it
African
up.
fit
Check
in the
this
world.
out.
What is your take on Black Americans?
I don't have that conversation because I believe they are their problems, you understand? But me, I know one of the problems we have is the Black to Black Americans.
Black Americans, because I hate the black. Me, I'm not black. Me, I don't like when you put just because I'm in America and I'm from Africa. Oh, now you put me in this. No. I believe that we have Black Americans.
He doesn't get it, y'all. You don't like it, but it is what it is, bucko. You must not know the history.
No. I believe that we have Black Americans. Me, I'm not Black Americans. I'm black.
He's not Black American.
Actually, I'm African American because I don't consider myself as black. No, I'm not. What do you mean black? Do you know black? Do I look like this? Or I tell me I look like this, bro? No. If you tell me I'm black, do I look like this?
Now, the person
Who's gonna tell him? Who's gonna tell him?
is saying that he is not Black American. And that's probably one of the things that he said that most Black Americans right now agree with.
That,
He used
the ring on that finger, bro, that shit is never coming off. Look at this nigga. Look at the ring on that nigga finger. That shit is never coming off, bro. You better go ahead and get that shit sawed off right now before it's too late. You gonna lose your whole finger.
probably one of the things that he said that most Black Americans right now agree with. He uses the term African American. So he says that Black American.
He's not Black American, but he's African American, but they classify African Americans as Black Americans. And regardless, nigga, you're a nigga coming over here to America. Oh, you got an accent, it don't matter. You're still black. At the end of the day, it make it worse that you're a foreigner.
Are Black Americans, and he's African American. And then he points to the color of his microphone. Do I look like this black mic?
If you're looking for a house, you should
Doesn't
be
get it,
looking for a
y'all.
mortgage.
Who's gonna
You could
tell him?
mortgage in the dark.
Or know the steps, but better.
So what the man is insinuating here is Black Americans are as black as that microphone. And he's just African American. But if you think about it, he is darker than most black Americans. So if you really want to be honest about who is closer to the color of that microphone, well, I mean, I think we have a clear answer here. He is a dark-skinned man. Nothing.
Yeah, I classify him as dark skinned. I wouldn't say he dark skinned, bro. I mean, he close. He ain't dark skinned.
Nothing wrong with being a dark-skinned man because I'm also a dark-skinned man. But we have people.
I know some dark niggas. I don't. He ain't that dark.
Man, nothing wrong with being a dark-skinned man because I'm also a dark-skinned man. But we have people who claim to be African American who are as light as Halle Berry, who has some admixture, or Beyonce, or as dark as Tyrone Hill. So being a black American is not about how
Michael
dark
Blackson black, nigga. That's black, nigga.
you are. It's about what you identify as. And it's clear he identifies with being African. So he's right to use African American.
If I seen this nigga walking down the street, before he even opened his mouth, I would know he was African with that fit on, bro.
But then he says something that is problematic.
So when you call me black, me, I'm African American, or how you can call me Congolese African American. You know what I mean? If you wanna really put label, let's put a label on it. Congolese.
You just talking to talk, man.
American. Don't call me black. I'm not black. I'm not this. You know what I mean? So and I really hate that label of black this.
Well, you came to America,
like
motherfucker.
That's
simple,
if we
man.
can go with that concept, the end of the day, I'm not black American. If you can say black and put that at least black African American. Why? Not just because my father is from Africa, but because I know where I came from. And I've been where.
So he uses the argument in so many words that black Americans don't have culture. And this is something that I have experienced a lot.
That's not true, man. Why y'all niggas wearing? That's why I said why y'all niggas wearing fake Gucci and and all this. They getting, bro. Africans are influenced by America. Y'all gonna say that's not true? Fuck out of my face.
In Uganda, so I've heard these sorts of arguments before in firsthand. And
no way. That's not true. I was gonna say no way in America are they influenced by Africa, but that's not true. It's just not to the degree of America though.
When we talk about culture, and he didn't use the word culture, but he says, I know where I'm from. Well, if cultures are languages or behavior patterns within certain groups, then we have to understand that if your culture was very strong, which you may be proud of it wasn't strong enough to keep you in the Congo.
That's what I'm saying.
It must have been a culture that didn't work in your favor. And that's something that we're going to have to get away from when we're talking about cultural arguments. Of course, a country like Congo is huge. They have great people, great population, successful people. But if you look at Congo on the world stage and you use culture, then and if you rank Congo with some of the best performing countries in the world, then we can easily talk about the culture that is affecting that country. Now, again, they have adversaries, but if you're going to say you know where you come from, as if that makes you great, then you would not be in America.
That's what I'm saying.
Because where you come from means that you have a strong culture and you know who you are. So therefore, you should be able to produce for yourself in the Congo. That's what you have to say if you want to use cultural arguments. Because whenever you tell a black American that you have culture and they don't, then what we must believe or infer is that your culture is superior to what we have been exposed to. But if it's not, and you have to go to another nation, then what you're saying is your culture doesn't produce anything. And I'm going to be honest and tell you what most African cultures produce. Outside of having
that's one of the biggest countries in Africa, Congo.
What most African cultures produce, outside of having lovely foods and lovely ways of doing things and producing a whole lot of rich history and value, a lot of African cultures produce something that black Americans don't, which is called gatekeeping. That happens a lot. A lot of African cultures participate in gatekeeping, which halts the progress of individual states or regions or countries within Africa. And that culture of gatekeeping,
Very divided.
taking credit for other things that people do.
Africa itself is divided, bro. So this nigga said black people is their own problem. I mean that is true, but at the same time y'all are divided. The whole world is fucking divided, bro. And it's gonna stay like that, you know. That's the way it's meant to be, I guess.
Lying and stealing on other people so they can't grow.
I mean, you got different races for sure. So, I mean, the white people are divided, the Asians are divided, the Hispanics are divided. The Indians is damn near the only ones. That's like damn near the only country. That's not like the only nationality, like race of people that damn near rarely ain't. And maybe like the Arabics or something. I don't really know too many about their countries and shit though. But,
Forces people
is there any other Indian countries? There might be. I don't know.
like him to come to America, and then he'll go back to Africa and most likely become one of those gatekeepers too, oppressing his own people. That is the honest truth about what happens in many African countries. And when we talk about culture, let's talk about the culture of gatekeeping. Let's talk about the culture of hiding opportunities for somebody. Let's talk about the culture of denying African talent. Instead of operating in a culture of meritocracy, and there are some countries who do it like Kenya and sometimes Nigeria, the culture operates on a culture of nepotism, which really slows down the development. And so because of your culture, you're in America or in Canada, and then you take shots at black Americans when your culture can't even protect you. That doesn't make any sense. And so when you have these arguments like that, somebody like me who lives on the continent of Africa and understands maybe not everything that goes on, but has a world view of what happens on a continent, I can tell you that if he had an opportunity where he was at in the Congo or the other guy in Nigeria, he would not be in America. And black Americans don't owe you anything, because Ugandans tell me that all the time. You go to Kenya, they'll say that all the time. Black Americans don't owe you any love or support. Ugandans don't owe me any love or support. Nobody asked you to come to somebody's country. You're there for your own reasons, and somebody wants to be nice to you. That is their prerogative.
Facts.
But they damn sure don't owe you nothing.
Facts.
So guys, what do you think? It's your boy
That's
Usher
facts,
Jackson.
man.
Man,
Y'all let me know what y'all think, man. We on the road to 100K, okay? If you don't hit that like button, subscribe button, and turn on all notifications, slap the dog shit about yourself, because that's the first thing you should have did when you clicked on this video. Get at you on the next one, and I'm gone. TYP the 9.